After 7.5 years of playing Rise of Kingdoms, I finally got to meet the developers, the CEO of Lego Games, the community managers over at Lilith, and yes, I finally got to meet Chisgule Gaming and a ton of you guys along the way, because as some of you might know, I was actually there in person at the Los Angeles community meetup this past weekend, and it was an incredible experience. So today, yes, I'm gonna share with you guys my thoughts and opinions on what they actually revealed for the future of Rise of Kingdoms at that event, but we're gonna do that later in the video because I'm sure lots of you already saw what they announced. First, what I want to do is just share with you my experience meeting the developers, meeting the community managers, meeting Chisgule, meeting you guys, and I'm also going to share with you a bunch of really cool stuff that they gave me just by being at the event, participating in the games, because it's some really cool stuff, and honestly the entire event was awesome. But before we jump in, of course, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now, as you guys know, I am a sponsored partner creator with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you want more Rise of Kingdoms content, consider subscribing down below. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers. It's actually insane. You might think you're sub, but you're actually not. Just double check. All right, so let's just jump right in here, and the first thing that I want to talk about was my experience actually meeting the developers and the community managers at Lilith Games. As some of you may have seen, I was actually on Chisgule's live stream when he decided to stream the actual in-person event, and that was not planned, by the way, or I should say maybe he planned on streaming it, but I did not plan on being a part of that stream. But I had no problem being on camera. Obviously I do that all the time, so it was cool. And honestly, this was not only my first actual collab with Chisgule, but like we literally met that day. Like we met maybe like 2 hours before that, not even. So it was a cool experience, and I'll touch on meeting Chisgule later in the video. But first, I want to start with my experience meeting the developers and the community managers, because you know, I've been playing the game forever and I've been making content about this game forever, and so I'm very familiar with the producer Dahe. I'm familiar with all the devs that are part of the live streams and these other in-person events, right? Like this was my first ever community meetup purely for scheduling reasons, right? Like it just, I was unable to attend these before. This was my first time being able to do so, which was fantastic. But as a player and content creator for this game, you know, I watch in the past these different community meetups, and you know, you're kind of watching and it's like, okay, they come up on stage, they have a microphone, they're talking and they're going through sort of like a PowerPoint or like a slide deck or whatever, and it always comes off as very professional, right? Like these events are done really well. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into making events like this possible. But when you're on the other side of the screen and you're watching this event, you know, it looks very formal, right? It looks like a very formal thing where the producer and the developers, they come up on stage, they have this microphone. And I think one of the things that I didn't realize as a viewer and as a content creator is that both before and after this presentation, the developers and the CEO of Lego Games are just hanging out in the crowd amongst the players. They're mingling, they're talking to people, like, and I know that sounds obvious, right? Like, duh, of course, what else would they be doing at an in-person event, right? But like as a viewer and as a player, all you ever really see from home, at least for me historically, I just see the presentation, right? And so you kind of don't think about like what else goes on at these meetups. But yeah, they're just there. They're very approachable, they're very friendly, they want to talk to people, they want to talk to players, they want to hear in-person feedback, they want to talk to everyone and say hi and get to know people. And like, again, that shouldn't be surprising or anything like that, but it was just really cool to actually see and witness, because you know, as a gamer, like I don't ever think about like the developers of Call of Duty. Like when I play Call of Duty or when I play World of Warcraft, when I play these other games, like these are such big studios that the people that make the game, it's such a giant team, and it's, I don't know, they just seem so out of reach and far away and sort of like almost like not real in a sense. Like I know they're actual people, but like, I don't know, it was just really cool to be able to sit down with them and talk to them and like actually be face to face with the people that make this game that I've been playing for years and years and years. And it was nice to know that they are community facing and friendly and like nice people. And overall, I was just very surprised, and it was just a really awesome experience for me. And not just because I'm like a content creator either, right? Like the whole room was filled with people that are players of Rise of Kingdoms that were talking to the developers and the CEO and like sharing ideas and saying like, oh, we should do this, or why don't you do that, or have you thought of this or whatever. And like, it was very cool. And one thing that is absolutely certain, one thing that that I know for sure now, which I already knew before, but like it's just different to even see in person, is that like the developers really want your feedback. Like they actually genuinely sort of crave good feedback for Rise of Kingdoms. They really want to know. And I'm sure it's hard as a developer of a game with hundreds of thousands of players that are speaking different languages all around the world. It's hard to sift through the noise of feedback, right? Because especially when it's online, you get so much feedback and comments and people talking all the time that I'm sure in person it's a bit more sort of dialed in. It's a bit more like actually tangible and real. And I think that's maybe why they like to do these types of things. But certainly the impression that I got, and it was abundantly clear to me, was that like these developers are very passionate about this game. Like if you really think about it, there's not really much of an upside for them to come all the way to Los Angeles to do something like this, right? Like I know there is, of course, right? But the production of having an event like this in an entirely different country is like just so gargantuan, right? It takes so many people to make an event like this possible, and it takes planning and time and money and all this other stuff. Like they don't have to do these events, right? But they do it because they're so passionate about Rise of Kingdoms, and they really want to actually meet players and actually talk to people and actually get good feedback. And it was just, again, I knew all of this going in, but when you actually meet these actual people, right? And again, I know that sounds silly, but like we live in a digital world, everyone's online, right? And it's just much more abundantly clear to me now in person, which I find really refreshing. Hi Tiger, what can I do for you, young lady? You just want to stand in front of the camera? Oh, just walk on my keyboard. Yeah, no, that's cool. Just walk. Yep. Okay. And so I do want to thank the developers for hearing me out and just being able to talk to them. It was amazing. And I know a lot of the other players at the event really appreciated being able to talk to them. But on top of that, I also want to thank the community managers like Leo, Agus, Kevin, Vivi. I know Cheesecake was there, and I hope I'm not forgetting names. I'm sure I might be, but they worked so hard to make all of this possible. And like, I don't know how or when they sleep. It doesn't make any sense to me. I only had a 3-hour time difference from New York to LA, and I was already kind of like, my brain was mush at a certain point, right? And Chisgule knows for sure because we grabbed lunch the day after, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I feel like the community managers at Lilith are like, it probably feels like a thankless job sometimes. So I just want to say, like, they obviously worked so hard to make this event possible, and they never took a seat, they never sat down. I feel like I didn't even see them eat at all ever. Like, well, I don't know, they're just so hardworking, so friendly, so nice, and they put on an incredible event. With that being said, let's talk about what it was like meeting Chisgule for the first time, because going into this community meetup, I actually didn't know anybody that was going to be there. Well, I knew Dark Siege was going to be there, which was fantastic meeting him, by the way. Super nice guy. We got to chat while we were waiting online for one of the, I think the claw machine, but like I didn't have any members of my kingdom that were going to be there. Like there was no plans to actually meet up with anybody there besides Chisgule, right? I knew he was going to be there, and like I've never met him. I've never played in the same kingdom as Chisgule, right? So going to this community event, there was a Discord set up, and it was filled with people that they RSVP'd that they were going to show up. And prior to the event, I actually met up with a few people at a brewery nearby, and that was my first time. I just was like, hey, you guys are going to be here, do you mind if I just show up? Like, hey, I'm just gonna walk in, is that cool? Like, can I just hang out with you guys? Because I didn't know anybody, and they were like, yeah, the more the merrier. So I walked in, I'm like, hey, what's going on? I just started meeting people, and everyone was so friendly, right? And so we're hanging out, and we decide, all right, it's time, we're gonna go over to the event venue. We go across the street, it was like right there, and we're kind of waiting outside to go into the venue. I'll try to put pictures up throughout this video to kind of, I didn't take that many, but I'll do my best. So we're waiting outside the venue, right? And it's like this long line. I joked that like the people across the street were probably wondering like, hey, I wonder why there's 80 middle-aged dudes standing outside the convention center, like, but anyway, we're all standing outside there, and I'm just like part of the little crowd, and like Chisgule pulls up in like his Uber or whatever, just like gets out, and everyone's like, oh, look, there's Chisgule right there. And it's so funny, right? Because like I don't remember who I said this to, but I was joking that like this event is like the only small room on the entire planet that I actually kind of felt like a YouTuber, if that makes sense. Like everyone knew me and everyone knew Chisgule, but I didn't necessarily know anybody else, which is a very interesting like experience, right? Like I don't think I've ever been in a situation where like a bunch of people just know who I am. Like it's just, I don't know, right? It's just interesting. So I can only imagine for Chisgule it's even more so the case because he's been doing this even longer. His channel's even bigger, but like at home he's just a regular guy, right? Like we're just regular people just playing a mobile game, you know? So like for him to get out of the Uber and everyone's like, oh, it's Chisgule, like for him he's probably just like, what? Like I don't know, that it was just kind of funny. So that was the first time that we met, is when he showed up at the event there, and we obviously hung out. And I've talked to Chisgule in DMs on Discord, whatever, for years now, okay? And I watched my first Chisgule video probably back in 2018, if not early 2019, so it didn't feel weird at all for me. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, like I know this guy, like of course, like it's just Chisgule, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. It's just that guy, and he's super friendly. I mean, I feel like this kind of goes without saying. Like I mean, I don't know, are there anybody that would argue otherwise or would expect otherwise, right? Like it feels even kind of silly to even say that, but like yeah, he's just a friendly, nice guy who just enjoys Rise of Kingdoms. Like it's exactly what I expected, like meeting someone that I knew for a really long time. And then the next day we planned to get food. We got dim sum, which was awesome, and I found out that he's been to LA a couple times, but he's never been to Santa Monica, like the pier. He's never been to, I don't think he's been to Venice. I'm like, dude, what do you do when you come to LA if you're not going to go to like the most touristy place possible? That'd be like going to New York City and you don't go to Manhattan. Like what do you, where do you go then if not there? So anyway, I kind of like forced him to go to Santa Monica. We walked around, we were chatting for a bit just about gaming and YouTubing and all this other stuff, and it was really cool. It was a great time. Loved hanging out with Chisgule. I'm sure we will probably do it again. Maybe it will be at another one of these events or something, I don't know, but it was awesome. Now the other thing that I want to touch on here, and I want to make this very clear, I mentioned it earlier, but I met a lot of you guys at the event. Like so many people came up asking to take pictures, and like I probably shook like 80 hands that day. Like it was very, very, I wouldn't say surprising, right? Like I mean, again, I didn't really go into this event with any expectation. I thought I would just like show up and just like hang out and watch the presentation, but like every 1 or 2 minutes somebody was like coming by like, oh, Omniarch, oh, it's just, oh, can I get a picture, can I? And like it was so nice. Everyone was so friendly and so happy to see me. And like again, not that I had any expectations otherwise, but you know, one of the sort of sad truths about being a YouTuber is that like you do get plenty of comments, right? And most of them are positive or neutral, but there are, you know, maybe 10 to 15% of them that are negative comments, and like those are the ones that really stick with you more, right? It's kind of like programmed in human beings to have a negativity bias and sort of remember the things that are negative more often, right? Which is why you turn on the news, it's always negative, because that's what you pay attention to the most, right? And so as a YouTuber, right, like you kind of have this like, you know, notion of like, oh, you know, 1 in every 10 people don't like me or something like that, right? Which is like absurd. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, even if you get 5 hate comments on a video and the video has 10,000 views, okay, so that's like 5 out of 10,000. Like it's such a tiny amount, but it feels like a lot because there aren't that many comments, right? Like you don't really see people that are just commenting like, hey man, love the video, keep it up. Like people do that, right? Like don't get me wrong, people absolutely do that, but like when you see 100 comments on a video with 10,000 views, like most people don't do that. Like a vast majority of people are just the silent majority that just watch and enjoy the content, and they never leave a comment, they never say anything, and that's fine. I'm the same way, right? Like I watch YouTube content, and that's how people watch content. Okay, sorry, it was getting hot in here, but my point is, like, obviously a majority of people watching the videos enjoy the videos, or they're neutral towards the videos or whatever, and obviously a majority of the comments are positive or neutral, but you still have that negativity bias, right? And so going into the event where like everyone's just so nice, everyone's just like, hey, like I appreciate the videos, thanks for making the content. I heard multiple people tell me like, oh, you're the reason that I still play, or you're the reason that I started playing, or like even one of the devs was like, I watched one of your equipment guides and it helped me. And I'm like, oh my, like it was just, everyone was just so friendly and it was so nice. And like the funny part is everyone was like, oh, thank you for the videos, thank you for the videos. And I'm just like, no, thank you for watching the videos. What do you mean? Like I should be thanking all of you. I should be going up to every person and shaking your hand. Like I appreciate that you guys watch what I do. Like that's crazy to me. So it's just so nice to meet everyone. Everyone was so friendly, and I don't want to share the pictures here without people's permission, but they shared them all on the Discord. I probably took 10 or 20 different pictures with players that were at the event, and it was awesome to meet every single one of you. There was not a single negative interaction. Everyone was so positive, so nice, and it was just, I genuinely appreciate that. So if you guys came up, if you said hi, if we took a picture, picture. Thank you, seriously, that it meant the world to me. Like really, I don't think a lot of people realize that as a YouTuber, like I am in my room alone right now, right? Like I'm talking to a camera, and I know I'm talking to you guys, but like 99.9% of my job is just me alone in this room. And so I can really only speak for myself, but like I genuinely appreciate that you guys came up and said hi. Like thank you. It really means a lot. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the things that they sent me home with, because if you guys didn't know, as you guys can see right over here, there's a lot of cool stuff that they give out for free at these in-person events. So if you guys ever can get to one of them, you absolutely should. And by the way, they did have an open bar for the entirety of this event, and there was food catering as well. So like even beyond just the free stuff here, like it's just a great time to go and hang out with people. But everyone got one of these bags before they left. So they gave everyone a goodie bag that said LA 2026 on it. The inside is some sort of like canvas material, so it's definitely a reusable bag. So let's see what we got in here. And the first thing is a t-shirt. Now Vivi asked me what size I was. I said medium, and she gave me an extra large, so I think she's calling me fat. I'm not really sure. I'm kidding. I think there's like a sizing difference or something like that, but let's see how an extra large actually fits for someone who wears an American medium. Okay, which by the way, I think that's hilarious that like the American medium is actually huge in other countries, because Americans are typically, I mean, let's be honest, we're pretty big. Okay, here's the shirt, and this is, I think, from the design contest that they do every year. Obviously we have Caesar, Cao Cao, Boudica, Sarka, and Richard the First right here. This is printed on, it's like some sort of vinyl thing here. The shirt feels very thick, like it's a high quality shirt. And then on the back it says, what's your power? And I feel like I'm curious to know what the combined power of every governor in that room was, right? Like of all the men standing outside waiting to get into the convention center, like we were probably like 20 billion power or something. All right, now forgive me, the camera angle is a little weird. I'm like in horse stance right now, but this as an extra large is crazy, because like you can see like the wrinkles here. I'm like, my chest is pushing out a little bit, and it's not because I'm jacked. It's like literally like this is actually my size. Like how am I an extra large? What is this? Am I actually fat? Okay, Vivi, you win this one, you win this round. I guess I'm an extra large. How is that even possible? Like I think they were actually out of the large, which is why they gave me the extra large, but like I'm happy they did, because a regular large would have been a little bit tight on me, I assume, which is just crazy. But okay, so I'm an extra large, I guess. Next up, let's go over this little bag here. You actually got this little bag when you walked into the event, as they were like confirming who you were and making sure that you got an invitation and all that stuff. So there's a couple of things in here. The first is a ticket here. It is the Los Angeles community ticket. It's got my name on it. You're supposed to put this in the raffle box, which I learned as the raffle was going on. Okay, so I did not put my ticket in the raffle box because I didn't know to do that, so I just didn't win anything during the raffle, which is fine. I had very limited luggage space anyway, so I didn't want to have to like deal with a massive Joan of Arc statue or whatever. But if, hey, Rise of Kingdoms, if y'all want to send me one, yo, I will happily take one off your hands. But anyway, there's the ticket, and then there's also a bingo card, which I spent so much time taking pictures with people and shaking people's hands and talking to people that I didn't get a chance to do this at all. Okay, but it's like, meet a governor from an alliance with more than 20 billion power, find a governor who ranks in the top 3 in their kingdom for kill points, find 5 governors who use the same civilization as you, have this square crossed off by Leo. There's just a little bingo game here, which is pretty cool. And then there is a community gathering sort of checklist thingy here, and it basically shows like all the different mini games that they had. So there was Card King, which was obviously, that's an event in the early game in Rise of Kingdoms, so you could play it in real life, which I got to do. There's Cornhole Toss, which I did get to play as well, and each one of these little games you can win gems, right, which was really cool. I got a ton of I got like 16,000 gems at this event or something like that. Yeah, tons of mini games, lots of gems being handed out for everybody. Then we also got a little pen here, a little Rise of Kingdoms pen. I know you can't really see that, but the Rise of Kingdoms logo is on there. Very nice stuff here, very clicky, it's got a matte black finish. It's got some little metal hardware and stuff, so really cool pen. It even says Los Angeles 2026, so it's not like they have like a billion of these just lying around and they just threw them in the bag. Like they made these pens specifically for the event, and these little small details, okay, they might not seem like they matter, because in the grand scheme of things I guess they technically don't, but my point point is, so much time and effort went into this event. It's like crazy, like the small things that people don't even realize, but I realize it. Okay, anyway, moving on here, we have a deck of playing cards. Okay, these are Rise of Kingdoms playing cards. It says time to conquer the world on the side here, and then we've got a legendary commander sculpture with this golden foil. Okay, let's actually crack open this pack of cards here. We'll see what the actual cards look like. If Artemisia is not the queen in this thing, okay, little crinkle ASMR for you. By the way, quick side note, I did tell the CEO of Lego Games that we need Artemisia Prime at least 3 different times, if not more. So he probably thinks I'm an absolute lunatic weirdo. Okay, I promise I'm not that bad, but I did my part, folks. I did my part. I'm trying to get Artemisia Prime in the game. Okay, this is gonna sound insane, but if you guys have ever collected cards like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. These smell really good. These smell like a pack of Pokemon cards from back in the day. But anyway, the Joker here, we've got, isn't that the king emblem? Are they trying to say something there? Also on the back here is a golden helmet there. We've got the Ace of Spades, which is just like an iron fist with a little crown on the top there. Then we've got just the regular spades and everything. Let's see what the face cards look like. No way, they actually made Artemisia the queen. I swear to God, I did not expect that. I did not know that. That is so funny. Oh my God. Actually, she's only the Queen of Hearts, which is like, I mean, that's the most iconic one, you know what I'm saying? Like she is the Queen of Hearts alongside Leonidas, who is the Jack of Hearts. Okay, very cool artwork here. And then we got Charlemagne as the King of Hearts, so very cool stuff. I love the artwork here. This is like, I know that the camera's far away, so it's probably hard for you guys to actually see this, but the artwork is like, it's like original art just for this, which is crazy that they go through all of this effort, because it's like, I almost wish they could sell this, right? Like I feel like people would literally buy this because the art is so good. Like this is making me want a Rise of Kingdoms TCG. Like I want to collect cards with Rise of Kingdoms artwork. Like it's probably because I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but I love the art here. This is very cool. For spades, we've got the Jack of Spades is Guan Yu. Very cool stuff here. The Queen of Spades is Wu Zetian, and then we've got Cao Cao as the King of Spades, of course. Awesome stuff here. Really cool artwork. And like the artwork, the poses and everything obviously are very similar or the same poses from in the game, but the actual like art style is different, if that makes any sense. So I really like that. I feel like I should be sleeving these or something. Am I nuts? Next is the Jack of Clubs, which is Ragnar. So it's not Ragnar Prime, it's just Gold Key Ragnar. Okay, then we've got the Queen of Clubs is Zenobia, so another bay right there. Okay, we love Zenobia actually made an appearance at the event. And then we've got the King of Clubs, which is Alexander the Great. Very cool stuff here. I really like this artwork. I want Rise of Kingdoms trading card. Leave a comment down below, would you like to collect Rise of Kingdoms commander cards? I feel like that would be really cool. I mean, collectible cards are kind of having a moment right now, so like I feel like they should jump on that. And we've got the Jack of Diamonds, good old Edward of Woodstock, which somehow looks even goofier in this image than he does in the game. Okay, got banana helmet right here. Then we've got the Queen of Diamonds, which is Cleopatra, looking absolutely gorgeous. Very strong chin definition in this image. I don't know how or why. And then of course the King of Diamonds is good old Julius Caesar. And then finally the other Joker is the Queen card. So again, absolutely incredible. I love this. This is really nice. The sad part is there's no way I'm ever going to use these in like any sort of game because they just look too good. Like I just want to keep them perfect and pristine. I almost wish I like had it another version sealed. Anyway, next we have a journal here. This is actually I opened this just to see what it was before, but this is an actual personal journal. There's just a piece of foam protecting it because it says ROK on top. And if you look, the corners here are like this shiny material. This is metal. I know I can't like it's not going to sound like metal, but like if you touch it, it's cold and it's very heavy. So like they actually made metal hardware for the journal here, which looks really awesome. And one of the things that I do like here is that it doesn't have like the Rise of Kingdoms logo per se. It just says ROK. So it's like, you know, if you actually did use this out in public, for example, people aren't going to see like the mobile game logo on the top, it's just ROK, right? So if you know, but for everyone else, it's just going to seem like a really cool red journal. And on the inside is where it says Rise of Kingdoms. And then I know it's going to be hard for you to see, but it says King's Journal right underneath there, right? Which is really cool. And the King's Journal letters are actually in reflective gold, which is nice. So this is actually like a really nice journal. I don't know what I'm going to write in here. Maybe like the names of all of my enemies. Maybe I'll treat this like my own personal death note, right? And like just pray on their downfall type of stuff. But I don't have that many enemies. In fact, I don't think I have any enemies. So I don't know. It's going to be maybe empty, but either way, very nice journal. Next up is a magnets set. And I actually think I already have this. So let me open it just to make sure it's not the same, or maybe it's a different magnet set or something. But if you open it up, yes, this is okay. So there's one of each resource, right? So you've got gold, food, stone, wood, and gems, which is nice. They should do a crystal one. I think that'd be cool. So maybe I'll do like a giveaway for this or something. I don't know if you guys want this, but I now have 2 of this. So I definitely don't know if I need to. I also don't know how I would facilitate a giveaway for something like this, or if people even really want this. So you can let me know in the comments if I should do a giveaway for the magnet set. Next is this really gorgeous community gathering trophy, which every single person, I believe, I'm pretty sure every person who showed up got this, and it actually has your name engraved on the bottom here on a little plaque. So mine says Omniarch Community Gathering, obviously the Rise of Kingdoms logo in the center, and it's really heavy. It's like actually just a block of crystal. Like it's just really nice stuff here. Now everyone else's came in a box, and a goose pulled me aside and said, hey, we are short 1 box, so guess what, buddy? Good old Omniarch's taking the fall there. I just had to wrap this in a t-shirt when I flew home. I'm just kidding, I don't care, it's not a big deal. It's just gonna go right on the shelf back there. But yeah, this is really freaking cool. Next up is another box that says Rise of Kingdoms, and I have no idea what this is. It looks like it's poker chips, but I don't know. I didn't open it yet, so let's find out together. It's this box. It says Rise of Kingdoms, foil gold and black. That's kind of the color scheme of everything here, is gold and black. Really nice stuff. Let's pop this open, and yes, there it is. Okay, so it's I guess it's poker chips. It's like all the different types of coins in the game, right? So we've got like Oryx, we've got season coins, we have Lost Canyon coins. There's no conquest coins, it looks like, which is interesting. I feel like that's like the most valuable coin in the game. We don't have Skolas's lucky coin either here, but basically it's just all the different types of coins from the game, which is really cool stuff. I think they're made of plastic. It feels like they're made of plastic, unless they're like a coated wood or something, but I think it's plastic. But yeah, I assume these are just poker chips. It's not labeled at all here. It's just a bunch of coins. Next up, we've got this little thing from Lilith Games, and a goose tried to explain to me what this was, and I was half paying attention because it was like at the end of the night and I was so tired. We were all standing like right in front of the door of the convention center, and I was like in the middle of being ghosted by my 3rd Uber of the trip, which was driving me insane. I don't know what it was, but like Uber and Lyft were just totally messed up. That's adorable. Look at that thing. That's so cute. Okay, I think this is a chestnut right here, which I think is like the mascot for Lilith. If you guys actually go in game, go into your animated emojis here, you'll see that there's actually 2 of the, they look, I guess they're chestnuts, right? Am I crazy? I think or acorns. Are they acorns? But I'm pretty sure that's what this is supposed to be, right? I think this is like the symbol of Lilith Games. The pony, I don't know necessarily what the pony symbolizes, or is it that's a pony, right? A horse? Unfortunately for me, I do not read Chinese, so I don't know what it says here. Oh, it's Year of the Horse. I'm so sorry. Yes, Year of the Horse, Year of the Pony. Oh, it says Lilith Games on the bottom. That's cute. Yes, okay, it is the chestnut for Lilith, it's the horse for Year of the Horse. I get it now. It's also very cute. This is like actually adorable. It doesn't move or anything. I don't think it comes off the base, and I don't want to break it, but it's very cute. I love it. Next up, this is actually a gift from Lego Games themselves. I don't know how many other people, or if any other people did get this, but hopefully they don't mind me sharing it here. Very cool. This is actually, as you can see, we've got the Lego Games logo on the bag, and it's actually a wind chime, and you can see on the bottom it's got the Lego Games logo here. Tiger really likes it, right, Tiger? She's like, what the heck is this thing? Is this a toy? I have no idea where I'm gonna put this, but I will figure it out. Obviously, I've got the window right here. Maybe I'll put it outside the window. I don't know what the significance of that gift actually is, but my best guess is that maybe the developers for Rise of Kingdoms have seen my videos and they're like, man, this guy is just too angry all the time. We need to chill him out. So we're just gonna give him a very beautiful sounding wind chime, and maybe he'll just relax, just take a breather, like just chill for a second type of thing. I don't know. And then the last thing I got here is actually not part part of this event. They just happened to give it to me while I was at the event instead of shipping it to me, because sometimes when things get shipped to New York, the postal system just going from one country to the next, like things get damaged and broken. But this is a absolutely gorgeous wooden box with the Rise of Kingdoms logo on it, and then inside is a piece of styrofoam. No, I'm kidding. It says Governor of the Year, Celebrity of the Year nominee Omniarch. So obviously your boy didn't win. Okay, so I got the consolation prize, which is very cute. Honestly, this is freaking gorgeous. Like, it's this golden metal Governor of the Year logo thing on the top, and I guess this comes out. Oh yeah, it comes out. Oh, it's a pin. Oh, okay, so I could actually pin this on. I don't know if you can see, I don't want to break it, but yeah, I can actually take this off and I can wear this pin around town, which perhaps I'll do, because then because I want people to know that I was nominated, didn't win, but I was nominated for Celebrity of the Year. But yeah, it's got my name right here. Like, it's actually gorgeous. Very cool stuff. Love it. Okay, now that we've gone through the unboxing and I've shared with you guys my experience going to LA at the community gathering, I will quickly cover my thoughts and opinions on what was revealed here, because I'm sure you guys have already seen what was announced, but if you're curious to know what I think about this stuff, we will cover that now. The first thing they touched on here was recovering from KVK. So they touched on the introduction of recovery potions and an enhanced off-season recovery, and as you can see, this is from the presentation, and this is in my current KVK. So in fact, they already added this to the game. Here you can see all the different recovery potions, and then you also can get transmutation stones as well, which honestly, I'll probably get the transmutation stones first, and then after that, that's when you go in and you get the recovery potions. But yeah, so they touched on this first, and basically they're talking about how they understand that recovering from heavy KVK fighting can be really taxing, time consuming. People have got lots of farms, and so they're trying to figure out ways to kind of ease that burden a little bit, and this is part of that plan, which is cool. Next, they talked about returning Zenith of Power City themes, which frankly, I mean, if you want it for the cosmetic, I think that makes sense, but in terms of, you know, getting it for the stats, I'm not super convinced, right? We're so far away from you know, right now we're on 20% infantry defense, for example, so why would you go in and get like half of that value in health? Now I know like health is a more premium stat, but probably I would rather have extra defense, right? So I don't know. I think this is mainly more for like cosmetic reasons, so it's great that they're bringing them back, but they cost between 8 and 12 Zenith badges, which is the same cost as the infantry defense. So like, again, I just feels a bit expensive, right? Because like this is a 1-to-1 exchange rate. So again, I don't know, it just seems very expensive to get these older city themes, considering that they are not meta right now anymore, right? So I don't know, like maybe if they were like 3 or 4 coins, maybe, I don't know. I get that they want to kind of keep them limited and premium and exclusive, but to me it still just doesn't really seem worth it. But that was another announcement. Next, they announced the special talent conversion event, which is really cool. If you have a piece of gear with a special talent on it, then you will be able to convert it to another special talent, right? And they don't reveal exactly how many gems this is going to cost, but they did say that you will only be able to do this once. Okay, so it will be a very exclusive thing, really just for people that either made a mistake and they accidentally grabbed the wrong special talent, or you know, their special talent hadn't aged really well, so maybe you grabbed a special talented Horn of Fury for archers, right? And now you don't use the Horn of Fury on your archers because Emperor Chin doesn't need it. So now it's like, well, what am I going to do with that Horn of Fury, right? I only run 1 archer march. Well, now you can move that over to infantry or to cavalry or whatever. I'm not suggesting you do that, right? Because we don't know what the future, archers might really want the Horn of Fury in the future, so don't like take that as investment advice. But what I'm saying is like, that's an example of what you might do here. Also, I'm a little bit confused by this screenshot, to be honest with you guys, because the sacred grips don't give you 10% archer attack. Not really sure what's going on there, but like in game it's 5% archer attack, right? And the iconic attributes are infantry, so I don't know what like, I don't know what that's going, I don't know what that is there. But anyway, if you wanted to, you could convert your sacred grips to archers. Also, like the iconic attributes are completely wrong, right? Like archer base health should be like the first one here, and like I don't know what's going on. Crack troops, what is crack troops? Anyway, my point is, this is a great event. This is all upside. It might cost a ton of gems, right? Let's just be honest, we don't know what it's going to cost. It could be be a lot of gems. But either way, when you think about like if it was something that you weren't really going to get value out of or not much value out of to begin with, hopefully it's not that many gems and it will definitely be worth it. Next up is a limited time event that gives you a 100% dismantle refund. This is fantastic. This is a one-time thing. Okay, so just like with the special talent, this is only going to be done one time and there's going to be a countdown timer. Okay, so if you crafted something that you don't need anymore, like a leadership something or like a whatever the case might be, okay, if you just have one mistake piece on your account and you actually got a special talent on it and you did whatever, like this will be a chance to get 100% materials back for that, which is incredible. Okay, we really like that. And now Ian's choice is somehow the sacred grips, but the archer attack is back to normal, I guess, and this gives you 15 infantry base stats. Okay, where do they get these how do you even get screenshots like this? I'm so confused. Anyway, they then showed off cosmetics, which they did show this off over on the official social media accounts. So this is the Joan of Arc Prime commander outfit. Okay, and this is the Scipio Prime commander outfit, and I think they're fine. I think that these are obviously leaning more towards realism than what I was thinking. Like for me, if you guys look at the sort of thumbnail that I made when they announced that this was happening, I made Joan of Arc's armor diamond encrusted, which obviously was like ridiculous. Like it was blinged out. That's not historically accurate. You would never do that. I'm sure there's examples of it, but I mean, like going into battle as a warrior, you're not going to show up looking like a early 2000s rapper, right? Like it's just not going to be completely blinged out Flava Flav type of like swagger. Obviously that's stupid, but I mean, I guess Scipio wouldn't be walking into battle without a shirt on, right? Would he? I don't know. Either way, these are a little bit more based into reality than what I might have thought, but I do still think that it's cool that we will now have different cosmetics for these commanders. They have different skill effects. They also, you can see like the flowers and the banner and the marching effects, which is cool. I think the marching effect and the skill effect for Scipio looks awesome. Like this just flaming chains I think looks really sick. The question that I have though is what reason would I have to run these commanders in the open field to actually see these cosmetics, right? Like why would I get cosmetics for Scipio, right? And also, does he have to be the primary or can he be the secondary in order to see the skill effects and the marching effects and all that stuff, right? Also, here we see Richard Martel. Is it possible that if you unlock the multi-battle broadcast for Scipio, you can use it on all of your marches? That would be really cool, right? Same thing with the marching effect. Can I use the marching effect on all of my armies, or is it just the one with Scipio in it? I'm not really sure, but really, again, the biggest question is why would I get these right now? You know what I mean? Like that's the question that everyone's asking. What's the purpose? Why do this? And like I'm sure it took them a long time to make these cosmetics. Like it seems like it would be easy, right? But like they have a whole graphic design team, and like this went through probably tons of revisions and making sure it looks perfect and historically accurate. It probably took like months to make these. So like I'm just curious, why would I get them if these commanders are not meta? And we do know that they will not be getting any stats. This will not give you a battlefield advantage. You're not going to get attack, defense, health, march speed, nothing. You will get nothing from this other than cosmetics. It's purely cosmetic, which is good from a game balance perspective, but I am confused as to why the first outfits are commanders that are outdated right now. Not to say that no one's going to use Scipio or Joan, but like a vast majority of their life is certainly behind us unless there's something coming down the pipeline that we don't know about. Next, they showed off the Osiris League boss, which I think looked really cool. It kind of reminded me, I told Chisgule this during the live stream, it reminded me of in Harry Potter when they play wizard's chess at the end of Sorcerer's Stone, right? Or Philosopher's Stone for those of you in Europe. But at the end of the movie, when the queen is just like this absolute giga chad, just like turning, rotating and just taking things out, right? Like that's kind of the vibe I got from this. I know that's clearly supposed to be like Anubis or something like that, right? But yeah, really cool stuff there. Obviously they're off on the altars, the altar of Anubis on the sides. Then we've got the upcoming KVK story is going to change how the altar of darkness works. I think that this is an interesting strategy. So you have 3 scoring areas instead of just 1, but we don't really know more about that KVK story other than we also have skills coming back and you'll be able to choose which skill from that commander rather than just whatever the bastion skill is, right? Like right now in my current KVK, each commander has a bastion, you just get the skill, right? But here you can actually pick of the 3 for Boudica what you actually want, which is really nice. Here's the thing though, and I don't think anybody's talked about this yet, but off on the right, this is Boudica's expertise. which, let me remind you, is her active skill. Okay, so am I going to be able to, this is 1,000 damage factor to one target, 100 rage reduction, and a 25% attack reduction for 2 seconds. Clearly that is not like a meta active skill, but it's a really solid skill to get if you're going to be like it's a third active skill on your army, maybe, right? Like, do you cast your primary, then your secondary, then your Boudica support active skill? I think that would be really cool, right? Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe this is just like a placeholder thing, but I mean, I don't know. I'm really interested to see what this KVK story is going to be like. Also, I'm pretty sure this icon is not even one of Boudica's skills. I'm pretty sure that's a Lohar skill. This is not a skill that's on Ulji Mundak. That's also not what Ulji Mundak looks like in the game anymore. That's like a really old Ulji Mundak artwork, right? So like, I don't know why they're using that. Joan of Arc is not a blue commander. So yeah, there's just a lot going on here. So maybe I am like reading too much into this, but I'm excited to see how this works. Clash of Divine Isles. This is a brand new game mode, and like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm really excited for this, mainly because this could be a really big deal and we just don't know it yet. So what I mean by that is, like, you know, they showed off some gameplay and they kind of explained it on the stage, but like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really fully grasp what they were getting at here, and I feel like once I actually get to play the event, that's when you really are going to figure out what this is all about, right? And it could be the case that this is a really fun, cool event and you can win gems. Like, that sounds really cool. I'm excited to see how this actually works. And then of course, at the end of the event, they announced that the Commander Reset event may be coming back as an annual thing, which I think is really cool. This is fantastic news for pretty much everybody. If you are a free-to-play player, low spender, high spender, being able to reset one legendary commander every single year is going to be insanely good value, and you can just go back and say, okay, I'm no longer going to use my Nevsky, we reset him, and then we get our hands on Gengen-chan or something like that, or Achilles or King Arthur, whatever. This is great stuff. Now, the other thing that I want to mention here is that we didn't see anything about new archers, right? Which was kind of like the talk of the event after this sort of presentation concluded. As I kind of mingled around the room, I talking to people, and people asked me like, hey, what do you think of the event? And it seemed like a lot of people were like, oh, you know, I thought that they would tease the new archers at least, right? Like, maybe not reveal their skills, but maybe just show like a silhouette, or say, oh, like, this is who's coming, that's who's coming, right? And we didn't see anything like that. And like, I also kind of thought that maybe we would see like what the next archers would be, maybe again a silhouette of them, because it is a little early. We're halfway through March, and usually they announce the new commanders about 2 weeks before they come out, so it would be a little early for them to announce the new commanders right now. So I guess, like, in hindsight, maybe my expectations were too high to be seeing new archers here. But also, like, one of the things that we have to remember is that like these things do take time, and I'm sure the developers and everybody would love to have something like that, you know, a really big announcement for every single event. But like, if it's not ready yet, if the commanders aren't ready, then they're not ready, right? We don't want to rush that process, because we don't want to have unbalanced commanders land in the game. How well of a job they've done with that, you guys can decide for yourselves. But like, I will point out that typically they don't actually go in and buff or nerf commanders in hindsight, which means they do fine tune them before they come into the game, right? Like, there's no emergency, oh crap, we got to nerf them because they're way better than we thought. Like, so what that tells me is there's like a really long process that they go through to really kind of balance and make sure everything's good, and make sure that the commanders are ready for the game. And so if it wasn't ready for this event, that's totally fine. I don't want them to rush it, but that was the one big thing that was kind of missing here. The other thing was the inscriptions for the Wedge 2 formation, right? They just announced the second Wedge formation. A lot of people were hoping that maybe we would see those new inscriptions, and we did not get to see those at this event. Again, that was another thing I thought, hey, maybe we would see that. I think that was actually probably more likely than new archers, and we didn't see that either. So those were the two things that kind of were missing from this event that I think a lot of people wanted to see. But all that means is we got more things to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen, more updates to come. And as soon as those updates are here, as soon as we know the new formation inscriptions and the new commanders, I will notify you guys right here on the channel. If you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below and click the bell to be notified the next time I upload a Rise of Kingdoms video. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.